Welcome to the Capcom E3 Showcase. I'm your host, Rachel Querico, aka Seltzer, and I'll be your guide as we walk through the latest releases, news, and updates from Capcom. We'll hear from the Resident Evil Village team, share some news from the world of Monster Hunter, and get the latest on Ace Attorney. Then we'll wrap up with some updates from our friends at Capcom Fighters. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Our first stop today, Resident Evil Village. The Resident Evil franchise continues to pioneer the latest and greatest in survival horror. The team has been blown away by the response to Resident Evil Village, which launched last month. It brought the world another chapter in this decades-long story as the franchise celebrates its 25th anniversary this year. I'm honored
Yo, everybody,
to be
welcome.
able to
How are we all
introduce
doing today?
Tsuyoshi Kondo,
Doing good?
Producer on Resident Evil Village, with a special message for the fans.
All right, so sorry this might look a little rough, everybody. This is all kind of last minute. Where everybody was busy today, but I wanted to do this to help out. So hopefully my voice is not too strong. Do I need to lower my mic? Let me know, guys.
She's everything to me.
I'm not sure what to really expect today. I'm sure we're gonna see. I'm sure we're gonna see some RE-verse today. Definitely think we're gonna see that. Yo, welcome, guys. Welcome. So right now, again, can you guys hear me good? Is my voice too strong? Sounds good? Okay, cool. But yeah, so this is, they're just gonna be talking about a little bit about Village, but yeah, we're yeah, let's hope for some DLC for this game. I hope so, because Village kind of did exceed my expectations. I wasn't expecting to have as much fun with the game as I did. So I'm hoping that we can do this. I'm hoping we can get some DLC. Oh, here we go.
I'm now happy to announce that Resident Evil RE-verse will go live next month across all supported platforms. So head into the fray to celebrate the Resident Evil 25th anniversary.
So next month, RE-verse is coming next month. Oh!
Thank you, Kanda-san, for that wonderful update. Next up, some long-awaited news from the world of Monster Hunter. Whether it's adventuring alongside monsters or battling them with friends.
Okay, I gotta. So
let's dive into the brand new story-based RPG
hold
entry
on.
in the series, Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin.
So yeah, we've got. We'll talk about everything that just happened. Yeah, let me know if you can hear the audio from the presentation too.
This was his fate. Red may have been strong and skilled, but against the awesome power of nature, he was merely a man. He never stood a chance.
All around, things just kept getting worse. But I heard that Guardian Ratha had survived and returned to Hekolu Island.
Both good? Okay, cool.
I went there to see Red's old monster again. Then, of course, that's when I met you.
You were given Red's kinship stone and now a Rathalos egg. This is destiny.
This is the legendary monster, Grey's Wing Ratha, the monster with the wings of ruin.
It's said that a beat of its wings can bring about waves of destruction.
Many people believe there's a connection between the strange happenings and the wings of ruin. The pits are appearing everywhere, and they're emitting a strange light.
I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan, so this doesn't really shock me. But I'm glad Monster Hunter fans are getting more of what they want.
What's this whole idea of forming kinship with monsters? How do you control them?
It's not about control. Monsters help riders of their own will. And the bonds between monsters and riders are just like your bond with Tsukino.
What kind of power does Ratha really have? Why are all of these pits appearing? And who are those people who want to take Ratha for themselves? All I have are questions.
If there's worry or doubt in your voice, Ratha will become anxious too. He needs to know that you will protect him no matter what.
I can sense the flames of his life force weakening. The burden of such great power is too much for his body to bear.
A voice. Can you hear it?
Yeah, it does look a little cartoonish. It does, but I'm happy that Monster Hunter fans are getting more, because Monster Hunter is a good series. I'm not good at it unless I play with other friends, but it is a fun series, and I do like the look they're giving to it. It kind of gives the characters more personality, I feel, than how Monster Hunter has looked in many years. But
I believe in the strength of humanity.
RE-verse coming next month. Yep. When Monster Hunter had a film. See, this is one of the things I do like about, what I do love about Monster Hunter. They give a lot of free DLC to fans, and because so many people bought the game, you know, and that's good, you know, and I love that. I love when companies give back to the people who give so much, you know, like they just want to keep giving and want to make a game as fun as they can. Oh my god, the amiibo shit's gonna go crazy. I have so many people that are gonna go nuts for that stuff.
Looks pretty epic, right? And how about that announcement? The canine companion Palamute from Monster Hunter Rise will be joining Monster Hunter Stories 2 as one of the new monsties in the first free title update coming soon after the game's release. You can get an early peek at the game with the Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin trial version starting on June 25th, which also carries your progress over to the full game release just a few weeks later on July 9th. That's not the only way to join the hunt. Millions of you made Monster Hunter Rise a huge success earlier this year, and we have even more content coming, including a new collaboration on the Rise. Let's find out more.
Well, are we gonna have like crossover stuff like Monster Hunter World has? So we'll see like Resident Evil characters in Rise and Street Fighter characters in Rise? Because I'll
This is for my fellow hunters!
Capcom Collab 1, alright.
Rathalos is no runt. Moon's blessing emerge.
Oh, the cats talk now. Calicos.
I have a good feeling. What will it be? Moon's blessing emerge.
You see, when I see the success of Monster Hunter, and I see all of this right here, it just makes me think this is all like co-op fun action stuff that they've done over the years. Why can't we get Outbreak in the same manner, right? Not like as Monster Hunter, but you know what I'm saying, like a multiplayer Resident Evil that we want. A Rider, Hunter, Armor, Fashion Victim. Yes! Sunglasses! Oh, I'm playing the game now. I'm getting it. They got sunglasses.
Kamura is like my second home.
I mean, I'll pay $5 for the sunglasses. I will. We ever get Resident Evil Outrage? Well, you know, like, don't worry, guys.
There has
Like, some,
never
you know,
been a
there's
better
still
time
more.
to be a Monster Hunter fan. With all the new updates to Monster Hunter Rise and the launch of Monster Hunter Stories 2 this summer. We can't wait to hear about your own stories of adventure.
And don't worry, guys. We're going to talk after the stream's done.
That's not the only thing Capcom has in store for us this July. Fans of Phoenix Wright will have new chapters to explore with the release of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. North American and European future attorneys will finally be able to get their hands on the Great Ace Attorney Adventures
Is there a physical
and the Great
version,
Ace
though,
Attorney
is the
2
question.
Resolve, which were previously only available in Japan. You'll travel back in time to the late 19th century Japan and London to play as Ryunosuke Naruhodo, Phoenix Wright's ancestor, in this action-packed prequel. Now, let's hear more about the story.
So then, let us unravel this mystery.
Like, I've never been an Ace Attorney fan and stuff, but it's glad to see that this series is getting some love, too.
To the centre of the world. Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
This country is incredible. I will become a lawyer. I have
to. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Who are you? Herlock Sholmes. You must have heard of me.
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san.
Let us engage in the art of deduction, Mr. Naruhodo.
I feel like I'm looking at a Persona game almost with this art style that they've chosen.
It would seem the truth is now tantalizingly close.
The defense
Oh,
demands
wow,
its
for
right
the
to
655 people watching, guys. Thank you for coming by. Greatly appreciate it. And, having issues with the notification, guys, so I do apologize. So for anybody that has joined the Resident Evil, thank you and welcome. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, and I know the rest of the team does too.
Objection! My lord,
Phoenix
with
Wright
all
is
due
just
respect,
Persona
this is
for
an outrage.
lawyers.
You're the best lawyer in the world.
Oh, wow, that's coming soon.
So we have 10 new cases and 8 mini escapades where you can take on the role of a defense attorney. Now, we all want to see some gameplay, right? Let's take a closer first look at 2 gameplay features new to the franchise in the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles: Dance of Deduction and Summation
So
Examination.
yeah, figure out what you guys want from a Resident Evil DLC, and we'll put it in the chat. We're going to talk
Hello,
about that
I'm Jonathan,
towards the end.
Capcom's marketing brand manager for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
Where to?
The Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
The Capcom team is thrilled to present 2 new gameplay features, Dance of Deduction and Summation Examination, coming to the Ace Attorney series.
While investigating to prove your client's innocence, players will come across conspicuous situations that require further examination with the help of Ryunosuke's legal aid Susato and the brilliance of deduction from Detective Herlock.
And this does look pretty good. I'm probably not going to play it though because I've never really been much into the Phoenix Wright games.
A grandiose,
But again, I'm glad that the franchise is getting some more love because it never really went away, did it? It was never like gone for good. Like they always kept bringing out different versions or like continuous ones. I felt. Ada Wong for DLC, Chris and Jill DLC, Heisenberg DLC. I swear to God, all over Twitter and all over other pages and stuff like that, and like from my own friends, people really want a Heisenberg DLC, and I think we do because if anything, he's kind of. I want to say he's probably the most tragic out of the 4 lords. Like he didn't want to be there. He hated Mother Miranda and everything. So, yeah. I think his DLC, but what would his DLC be? That's what we'll talk about later at the end of the video. Revelations 3. I would love Revelations 3, man. I would love it. Huh. Those just cracked. All right.
Ryunosuke and Susato will then discuss to correct the flaws in Herlock's deductions.
Sholmes. I love it. I love they can't use Sherlock Holmes.
At this point, players will be prompted to search for clues that help identify the errors in the detective's logic and reveal the truth to the mystery.
Yeah, Ada was supposed to be in Village. They have the concept art for her and everything, and she looks great. I really wish they didn't cut that. If they had to postpone Village till like later this year to include Ada into it, or whatever the case was, I would have been fine with that. I would have been totally fine with that. And I think a lot of, I think a lot of people would have been mad, of course, but given that we're still in a pandemic, delays in games are inevitable. So. Literally anything related would be kind of nice for Outbreak, been nearly 20 years. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I am one of the biggest advocates for Outbreak getting a remaster or a third entry or a compilation or something. If you wanted to do this, right? You wanted to make a Resident Evil game. You would literally have to, for an Outbreak 1, you would put out the Outbreak game, or like find the code, redo them, put them in a collection for like $20, let people play it, and see what the sales do, and then make a third one. Honestly, you can make a third one, it's gonna sell. Again, with the success of how Monster Hunter has handled its, like especially Monster Hunter World and how it went online, and how many people were playing that game, and I think it's the most.
Players will attempt to convince 6 jurors of the innocence of their
client. I think it's the most
progress
best
will be displayed and
Capcom selling
by
game
2
of all time.
scales of justice.
That would be something really amazing to
one white
to
representing
see,
a not
in
guilty
my opinion,
verdict.
is to get Outbreak, because online
Summation,
Monster Hunter proved it.
take the
Outbreak
stand
was just
to
ahead
face
of its
off against the
time.
jurors.
Doesn't mean it was a failure back then.
All
It
of
was
whom
just not
provide
right for the
explanations
time
as to why they've reached their guilty verdict.
You'll have to identify conflicting statements and sway the jury in your favor. Examine each statement carefully and select 2 contradicting jurors to call out the flaws in their logic.
Objection! What you guys are saying is true. You guys are giving off a lot of good ideas for what
Be ready to provide
Village
evidence from the court
DLC
record
should be,
to help prove the
in my
contradiction in their claims.
Ooh, that guy's got a
If you
knife.
successfully point out one of these contradictions among the jurors, you might just change their minds, too. With a slam of their fist, each juror you persuade will send a fiery ball towards the scales above and literally tip the scales of justice in your favor. Bring each contradiction to light and persuade the jury to help prove your client's innocence.
You hate to see when games cut good ideas out, right? I mean, at the same time, too, you don't know what's going to work in development
the exciting
until it comes out
gameplay
at the end.
features
Know what I'm
in
saying?
the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. We are very excited to get this game in the hands of both new fans and diehard fans alike. Thanks for watching.
It already seems like I have a bunch of games to catch up on. There are some exciting new adventures and titles to look forward to.
If there's anything else, maybe
That's
something
a look
from
at
Dead
the new
by Daylight
premieres from
crossover?
Capcom, but what about esports? Let's close out today's showcase with a few words from 2 of the stars of Capcom Fighters, Rob TV and Vicious. They'll tell us what's been going on with Capcom esports, including updates on the Capcom Pro Tour, Intel World Open, Street Fighter League, and all the other content on Capcom Fighters. Over to you guys.
So this looks like we already got a... Alright then. I mean, I'm excited for this.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Capcom esports presentation for E3 2021. My name is Vicious, commentator for the Capcom Pro Tour as well as Street Fighter League, here with competitive Street Fighter V player and host extraordinaire, Hollywood, Rob TV. What's going on, Rob?
Oh my goodness, Vicious, host extraordinaire. That just sounds beautiful. It has a ring to it, and I think that's the
a lot of people say
word
they're
to
not
describe
excited for
what we have
RE-verse, but
everyone
people
today.
felt that way
Street
about
Fighter
Resistance,
V,
and then Resistance
Capcom
turned into a
E3,
really
it just
good
feels
thing. A lot
right,
of people
and you
like
feel
it.
the electricity in the air.
I'm hoping it does good, right? Hoping that it does.
What? That was nasty. And there might be some people at home, Vicious, who don't fully know what competitive Street Fighter V is. The long and the short of it is this. We travel all around the world, state to state, country to country, and we try to bring our opponent's life bar from 100 all the way down to 0 and feel pretty goddamn good doing it.
That's right, Rob. If you think you're the best in your region.
Yeah, if you've ever been to like a Street Fighter tournament, stuff gets wild, man.
Possibly a world champion.
I mean, I haven't played much of Street Fighter 5 lately because I play other fighters right now, like Dragon Ball Fighters and Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. But I'll always go back and play because Street Fighter is just where home is, you know?
$5,000 on the line for each tournament, but that money alone, that's not the
not
big,
the cell-shaded graphics
really
from RE-verse. Yeah,
it's
I mean, yeah, you know, it's different. It is, it's different, you know.
Capcom Cup.
Item just reset in grand finals of Capcom Cup.
So behind me, you can see in all of its glory, the Capcom Pro Tour 2021.
Yeah, they said that this is going to be the last thing, so it doesn't look like we're going to... I had money down on some Dead by Daylight stuff, but I think they're waiting for that until the game drops. We in the row are planning on playing that because that's a first. We've never played Dead by Daylight on this channel, and people have requested it. I've only watched my friends play it at their houses, so I got a good idea about how it works, but I'm interested to play when Resident Evil stuff comes out.
This season. I'm absolutely excited because, again, that is a big change.
Say RE-verse is free to play, but how can it be free if we need PS Plus/Xbox Live to play it then? Yeah, well, I mean, most people do have PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live to buy these things.
On the Capcom Fighters channel, you can do so
because you can't go online without PlayStation Plus.
YouTube,
you know?
Twitter, and Facebook. Of course, if you don't catch it live, you can also check out the VODs for all the competitive studying you would need to become a successful Street Fighter V player, as well as catching some of the community-focused content that we have on Capcom Fighters. We have No Neutral, the official pre-show of the Capcom Pro Tour. We have sets where we take players from around the world and play off in an exhibition first to 10. Not only that, actually, we do have Street Fighter League that's happened season after season, non-stop action, 6 teams of 3, duke it out in this battle tournament series.
Street Fighter just knows how to bring tournaments alive. Like, I don't really think there's very few fighting games I feel that really bring the hype, aside from like Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, and especially something like Marvel vs. Capcom. That really brings the hype. Although Tekken 7's done a really good job too. Tekken 7 tournaments have always been really good.
Later this year.
It's Oki time. What's gonna happen? Nice. He checks it. He checks the movement. What's happening?
It's so good.
But for the 800 people watching right now, thank you guys. Greatly appreciate it.
Opening is happening
like I said, so this is ending very soon, but stick around. We're going to have a discussion about what we just saw and what we want from Resident Evil Village
happening next
and its
month.
DLC.
Be sure to check out the official website for more information, including current standings and broadcast schedule.
To commemorate this event, everyone who logged in during this period will receive an exclusive competitor title and dojo object. You do not want to miss this.
I highly recommend everyone to stay tuned for
that's right, because like in Street Fighter 5, you can customize your own dojo with items that you can earn in-game
so from
like the gambling system that they have and such.
We've had a couple of more events going on afterwards, but the action does not stop. In fact, we're going to be continuing off with the Midwest region. For the
I'm still saying to this day, I just want a Capcom versus Capcom game where it's all the not just Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Legendary Wings, like Ghost and Goblins, all this stuff. I want all these Capcom characters together because I want to play as more Resident Evil characters.
I dare you to find better Street Fighter. I dare you.
This is a game about being a world warrior.
That's the thing too. Like Street Fighter's got some of the best like commentators at tournaments too. Like these guys bring the hype just as much as the players do.
I'm the best in the world.
This game has changed the lives of so many people here.
Big cheese DLC.
That's what I'm talking about.
I told you it's gonna go to the limit, and I ain't lying to the people.
This is the ultimate Street Fighter 5
Still wants Tekken versus Street Fighter, and everybody does, which is why I think Akuma was put into Tekken 7 to test how characters would work playing as in the Tekken style.
Thanks, guys.
And then Geese Howard
it's been a really exciting season so far, and I can't wait to see how this plays out on
KOF
the road to
Fatal
Capcom
Fury.
Cup. Remember to check out Capcom Fighters' Twitch and
DLC
YouTube channels for more information and to watch the latest matches. So that's a wrap for Capcom at E3 this year. Let's recap what we all saw. Resident Evil Village is back with the latest installment of the survival horror experience and RE-verse as part of the franchise's 25th anniversary. We have new adventures to embark on in the world of Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, and Monster Hunter Rise. And don't forget to go back in time with the great Ace Attorney Chronicles. to tap into the family history of Phoenix Wright and solve new cases. Finally, don't miss out on the esports fun. Make sure you catch the latest matches with Capcom fighters.
They're gonna wait till
there really is
announce
something
the
for
last
everyone
character in
here
Street
today.
Fighter V at a bigger
But don't go anywhere
thing. I think we
yet.
got an actual
Join the
term
conversation
like,
on Twitter and make
maybe
sure you
Combo
check out the
Breaker or,
Capcom virtual booth on the E3 portal
Evo.
to watch all these videos again and more. I'm Rachel Querico, aka Seltzer. Thank you for being part of the Capcom experience at E3 this year.
Oh, yeah, JJ's here, guys. He's acting as Resident Evil right over here in the chat. Yeah, they did, but nothing else. They just say that it's in development, so. Alright, so that's the end of the Capcom stream, it looks like, unless they're gonna pull like a big fake out and give us something, which I don't think they are. I think they're pretty much done, but, E3 Expo. I believe that's it. Alright. That's pretty much it, guys. Alright, so yeah, we'll just leave it there because that was the end. So, yeah, how do you guys feel about what you just saw? This is definitely different than I think any of us were expecting, to be honest. I can't say I'm disappointed. I'm happy that we're getting more DLC, because that's like a really cool thing that that they're giving us. There we go. There we go. So, yeah, so, F's in the chat. Well, I mean, you know, we still got, there's still a lot more coming out, and what we do have to realize is there is still the pandemic out there, so they can't pump games out as fast as they. But the big news is we are getting DLC for Village. Nothing's been confirmed what it was, but people, they heard us and they want to do it. So I think that's cool. What's it going to be? Could it be about the Four Lords? Could it be about Spencer and Mother Miranda going on adventures together back in the day? Is Jill Valentine gonna come back? Is she gonna have her own DLC? Or are we gonna have some more Chris stuff? Because I don't know about you guys, but I felt that Chris's part in Village was short. So yeah. You know, like, it just, but like, that's the thing. That's what's cool. And, you know, for everybody who's upset in the chat, like, you know, don't be so upset the fact, like, we're getting DLC. That's pretty awesome that we're getting DLC for this game, you know, because, I mean, when we had 7's DLC was kind of, like, right after, right? We knew about a lot of the stuff, but 8, Village, it didn't look like we were getting any, so I'm happy. What it is, we're going to have to wait and see. For anybody who's a Monster Hunter fan and Phoenix Wright stuff, got to find out a lot of new stuff about that, so that was cool. So, well, I mean, you know, they just announced it, you know. Yeah, Heisenberg definitely is the big one in the chat. Heisenberg stuff, Ada DLC. I know people want Jill, and let's face it, Jill needs to come back, and this is a great way to put it right into the series. DLC her. Dino Crisis remake should have been announced, yeah. Yeah, so, and we got Ariverse coming next month. We'll see what that's going to be about. I mean, like, we know what it's about, but we didn't really get to see too much more. So, I don't know if anybody played the beta here in chat. I didn't get to because I was so busy, but, you know, let me know in the chat if you actually enjoyed the beta. But definitely, Heisenberg, I hope, is one of the DLCs that they do. It's going to be weird because how do you play a game where you're where you're pretty much the Magneto, like, you're Magneto. That's who you are. So how are you going to make that into, like, an actual, like, game and not make him seem overpowered as hell or something, you know? Chris and Ethan working as a team. I mean, I thought they should have fought Heisenberg together. I really would have liked a lot more time with Chris, to be honest. I really thought that they would have done a lot better, but, well, you know, in terms of giving us more Chris playtime. And you know what? Be his DLC. You know? Maybe there's more monsters. Like, you know, obviously Chris ain't going to fight the Four Lords, but maybe there's some other creatures roaming around that we didn't get to play. Maybe they'll throw in new creatures. Kind of like how in 7 when you played as Chris and new molded were added to that whole thing that Chris had to go through, the Not a Hero DLC in RE7, so... Would have loved DLC where the Four Lords bring in... yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, there's so much they could do with it. And JJ right here in the chat's right about, you know, like a separate way stuff with Ada or Chris from the Wolf Squad, Hound Wolf Squad. Going to the BSAA. See, he's got the right idea, guys, right? Have it be about them going to the BSAA and, like, you know, whether they can fight their way through it. Maybe, like, there's an outbreaker in the lab or something like that. To make the BSAA look good. It's just like, oh yeah, it was like a biohazard attack or something like that. And Chris has to find his way to go in, find the truth, get it off a hard drive of a computer before the place blows up. Something like that would be really cool to give Chris more playtime, I feel. Because, let's face it, Chris is a really popular character. A lot of people love him. And I really started to love the character more in Resident Evil 5 back in the day when Roger Craig Smith began doing the voice for him, and just like the performance he gave as Chris in RE5 was amazing. And Jeff Shine friggin' nails Chris in Resident Evil Village. Like, he does such a good job at that character, making you love the character even. Yeah, BSAA should be RE9, not DLC. Well, no, like you know, like I understand what you're saying, but like, you know, we could, you know, segue it, you know, shoehorn it in there, kind of we bridge the gap, because some video games do that where you get the game and then, like, you know, you play this next part, but it's not the actual sequel, it's the in between. So that would be something kind of cool to do, I feel. Roger Craig Smith voiced Chris. I know only him as Sonic. Yeah, no, he is back as Sonic again, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I would love to see some DLC for Jill. I really would. I think it would be really cool if they put her in. More stuff with Chris. So yeah. So yeah, for everybody that's you know, like saying that as well, BSAA definitely. Chris is overused. I think characters deserve a bit more spotlight. Yeah, like, I can understand why, because a lot of people felt that he should have, like, you know, his character kind of ended in RE5, and then when they brought him back for 6, people were really happy with 6, but, you know, I really do feel that Chris is a really good choice to have as a character right now. I just don't want to see other characters go ignored, because, again, Ada was cut from Village, and we all wanted Ada, right? Like, nobody was just like, nah, I don't want her. No, everybody wanted her in this, and I would think, you know, Chris seeing her alive would he'd be like, wait, what? Didn't you die? So, you know, that would be really cool to see, in my opinion. What else did they announce? They only announced more stuff for, like, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, some Capcom Pro Tour stuff for a Street Fighter fighting game, and a new Phoenix Wright game, which is like a prequel. You play as Phoenix Wright Ancestor. That's pretty much it. Chris's part felt like a COD mission. Yeah. Well, if you guys heard on the podcast we had, I had said that Village kind of like has an identity crisis, that it tries to be so many different things. Like, at one part you're like Silent Hill, one part you're Resident Evil 4, one part you're Resident Evil 7, other parts you're old school Resident Evil, and then next you go Resident Evil 6, Call of Duty kind of thing, you know? So, you know, the only thing they really just did announce was the fact that there is DLC coming for Village, and I think that's great. I think that it's great that we're getting it. We're gonna have to wait probably a little bit, but maybe this year we'll find out a little bit more, because Village is doing well in the stands for selling right now. And we've had a lot of podcasts. If you guys want to go back on the channel and listen to the podcast with the actors we have had such a great time talking to them. They truly do love this series, which I think makes Village a lot more fun for me personally, is to see the actors just love this job so much and love these characters. They have done an amazing job, as have the writers and the people who directed them. So the Duke is kind of shaped like a boulder. I love it, man. Oh man, that's great. That would be. I mean, even a Duke DLC would be good. But I kind of, as strange as this is, I don't want to learn that much more about the Duke. In terms of, I want him to remain a mystery. Now, if he comes back in Resident Evil 9 somehow, that would be cool. and we find out a little bit more about him. Because the theories about who the Duke is have been amazing. Yeah, Ada has to be the DLC. She has to be one of the DLC. But for that part right there, yeah. I think that kind of wraps it up for this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all your DLC ideas. This is really good stuff in my opinion. And I really hope that like they've listened to the fans of what they wanted, because I feel that if they're just asking for if they say DLC is happening now, I think they're taking kind of feedback from the fans of what we want. So that's why the DLC might take a little bit longer, because it might not even be started yet. They just planned DLC for it, possibly. We'll see exactly what happens. But for all those of you who tuned in, thank you for subscribing. Greatly appreciate you guys following us today. All the comments and love that you've given. Thank you very much. And also, if you guys want some G Fuel and everything, you get some right down there, and you can use the code ROW to get money off your purchase. And we got a donation here. Hey guys, love to see stories of the Four Lords, Hound, Wolf Squad, and Mia's story. You know, as much as people don't like Mia because of how her character was written in the right way to not be liked, some DLC about like her time or maybe trying to escape the castle every once in a while, or Mother Miranda's capture, would be kind of interesting. I would like that. So yeah, like I said, my bet: Ada, Chris, Jill, Wolf Squad DLC, Heisenberg DLC. Make it happen, Capcom, because I will be very happy. So that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into the Residents of Evil. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all the support that you give us here. Thank you for joining me today. And, well, see you all next time. Take care, everybody.